Here's my official video on what you need to do if you are trying to get lean in 2026. Who's been doing this for a couple years now. I help busy professionals get in shape, and I help empower people to realize that there are a ton of barriers out there that allow you to um, not be in shape, but I help break those barriers. Get strong, get lean, lose body fat. That I would do. First, we'll go through the basics, but then I'll give 3 things that I would do on top of that to ensure that you actually achieve your goals. Here are the basics that I would have down, and the reason why I have these as my basics is because if you have a nice foundation, a solid foundation for where you are right now to where this foundation kind of helps propel you to the next step, then you cannot move on to step 2 or incorporating the last 3 things that I would have you do until this foundation is nice. You want to focus on is your sleep. You want to make sure you're getting 6 to 8 hours of sleep every night. And then the next thing you'd want to do is make sure your stress levels are super low to pretty much non-existent. I mean, obviously, if you're a busy professional, there's a level of work stress that you have, but you then would want to have a way to decompress every day that's not also sabotaging your results. You want a way to decompress that actually propels you into success for the next day. One kind of compounds the first two. It's just that you want to be in a consistent routine. I cannot emphasize how just being in a consistent routine every day. I mean, obviously, there's the weekends versus the weekdays. There's, a birthday party comes up or the holidays or something. And there are just ways that we get these, out of our control sort of situations to where it proves that we cannot be consistent, but there are still very many days in between all of that to where you still can be consistent. So just because you have those holidays here and there, does not mean that you need to throw out the entire year. There's so many, however many, let's just say 200 days of the rest of the year where you can still be as consistent as possible. Now, with all of that out of the way, let's just say that overnight you magically are in a routine. But realistically, it would probably take you about 3+ months to get into a really good routine if you're not already there. And then building that habit of actually sticking to it and defaulting to it rather than defaulting to old habits will be key. Once you get to that point of mastery, this is what I would do to add on top of it to actually make your physique change, because those other habits just get you into a really good regulated start. So now you can habit stack these things. Would be get your nutrition dialed in and eat your protein. I cannot emphasize that enough. You need to be eating, let's just say, me, for example, I'm 145 pounds. If my goal weight, let's just say, was 135 pounds, I would need to eat that many grams of protein to hit my goal weight. So I need to eat 135 grams of protein to hit my goal weight. So I know that was very, very fast calculation, but it's basically eat a gram of protein per pound of body weight that you want to be. So let's just say you're 200 pounds, just for easy math, and you want to get down to 173. You could eat 200 because that's how much you weigh, but if your goal weight is 173, you want to set your macros and calculations to 173 and then have the fats and the carbs kind of follow below that and to fill in for your caloric deficit. So that's a lot. Super important. That is what keeps you full. That is what keeps you satisfied and helps build muscle, keeps muscle on your body while you are in a fat loss phase. So just keep that in mind as you're going about that step. But also mind you, do these things very, very slowly, one day at a time for months at a time. This is not just something you just slam into one day and hope that it sticks forever. This is something that is gonna trial and error, and as the weeks go on, you'll start to master it, and it'll become second nature after a while. That's how it was for me. I can attest to this. So then the next thing that I would do is training. So if you're not already strength training, you are sleeping on this. You need to be getting strength training at least 2 to 3 days a week, at the very least, right? So what I usually do with my clients when they're first starting out, some of them just train 2 days a week. Some of them can really only get one day a week because she's busy, she's a mom, she's all these different things. And it's also a little bit of up here, the mental barriers, the amount of overthinking will get into a lot of people's way. And so if that's something you're dealing with, let me know down below. We'll walk our way through it. We'll talk our way through it. Um, so yes, you want to start implementing strength training. I would typically, if you can and time permits, I would go to the 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, let's just say, and I would go full body, upper body, lower body, and seriously just stick to that. Add that into that foundation of consistency. It's just 3 days a week. You have your set time and place where you go and what you do, and do that on rinse and repeat. Don't try to change things up on a weekly basis. Keep that same exercises and the same routine every single week for at least 3 months and see what you're able to do in that 3 months. You'll notice that you get better and better and better. You can lift more and more and more. So do that. Last thing I would highly, highly suggest and recommend for you to actually get the results that you're looking for is me. I'm just kidding, but kind of not really. Hire a coach who can hold you accountable, who can coach you through the trial and error, who can help you undo the mental knots that you kind of tie. We all do it. I do it myself, and that's why I have a coach too. So, hire a coach to help you through the mental barriers, the mental side of it. If you're not, we all know, right? If we're not here clear in the head, then if we don't move forward in the mind, the body does not follow. Like, so if we are just making shit up and making all these nutrition rules and we just don't even know that it actually helps you get lean in any way, then why are we following it? Like there's science-backed information to show that what we actually need to do is X, Y, and Z. So getting with a coach who knows what they're doing, who has done it themselves, who puts other people through this too, makes it super duper easy for you to say yes to getting coaching and getting that support and getting that accountability. And so, yeah, those are the top three things that I would highly suggest incorporating because, yes, we can learn all that we want and all that we can to make something happen, but the actual execution of it is really, really hard unless if we have external pressure, if you will. Unless if you have external people who are counting on you to follow through on what you want to do for your own goals. It's kind of ironic, isn't it? I'm gonna hold you accountable to your goals. But yeah, so hopefully that helps. Ask me any questions down below, follow up any ideas, what you'd like to see next, all that good stuff. I totally sound like I'm from like 2015. But yeah, that is what I have for today. Hopefully that helps, and I'll see you next time. Bye.